Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a wealthy merchant with 3 lovely daughters. The 2 older daughters were selfish and vain, always demanding fine clothes and jewels. But the youngest daughter, named Belle, was kind, gentle, and loved to read. Her heart was as beautiful as her face, which is why everyone called her Beauty. One day, the merchant received news that his ships, once thought lost at sea, had returned to port. He was overjoyed. Before he left to reclaim his fortune, he asked his daughters what gifts they would like him to bring back. The older sisters asked for expensive gowns and glittering necklaces, but when he asked Belle, she simply said, "All I want, dear father, is for you to return home safely. But if you must bring me something, a single red rose would make me very happy." The merchant traveled to the port, only to discover that his business partners had cheated him, leaving him with nothing. Heartbroken, he began the long journey home through a dark and sprawling forest. As night fell, a fierce storm began to rage. Lost and shivering, he suddenly saw a light twinkling in the distance. He followed it and found himself before a magnificent, enchanted castle. The gate was open, so he cautiously stepped inside. The castle was grand but eerily quiet. A fire blazed in the hearth, and the table was laden with a delicious feast. It was as if someone was expecting him. Hungry and cold, he ate the food and then found a warm, comfortable bedroom where he fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, the sun was shining. The merchant felt much better and decided to leave. As he walked through the castle gardens, he saw the most beautiful rose bush he had ever seen, covered in perfect red roses. Remembering Belle's wish, he reached out and plucked one. Suddenly, a terrible roar echoed through the garden. A monstrous beast appeared before him, with furious, glowing eyes. "Ungrateful man," the beast growled. "I gave you food and shelter, and you repay me by stealing my most precious possession, my roses." The terrified merchant fell to his knees, begging for his life. He explained that the rose was for his youngest daughter, Belle. The beast considered this. "I will spare your life on one condition," he said. "You must bring me one of your daughters to live here in your place. If not, you must return yourself in 3 months to face your fate." The merchant, seeing no other choice, agreed. He returned home with a heavy heart, holding the single red rose. He told his daughters what had happened. The older sisters wept and blamed Belle for her foolish request. But Belle, brave and loving, stepped forward. "Do not worry, father," she said calmly. "I will go to the castle. A promise is a promise, and I will keep yours." Despite her father's protests, Belle was determined. He took her to the enchanted castle, where they said a tearful goodbye. Belle entered the castle, her heart pounding with fear. But to her surprise, the beast was not there. Instead, she found a beautiful room prepared just for her, with shelves full of books and a wardrobe filled with lovely dresses. A magical mirror on the wall showed her that her father had arrived home safely. That evening, the beast appeared at dinner. Belle trembled at the sight of him, but his voice was surprisingly gentle. "Do not be afraid," he said. "This is your home now." "Am I very ugly?" Belle, being honest, replied. "Yes, but you seem very kind." Every evening, they would dine together. Belle soon discovered that beneath his frightening appearance, the beast was intelligent, lonely, and had a good heart. He was a wonderful conversationalist, and she began to look forward to their time together. Each night, before she went to bed, he would ask her the same question. Belle, will you marry me? And every night, she would gently reply, No, beast, I cannot. Though she was growing fond of him, she still longed for her family. One day, Belle looked into her magic mirror and saw that her father had fallen gravely ill from sadness. She begged the beast to let her go home to see him. I promise I will return in 1 week, she pleaded. The beast, seeing her sorrow, agreed. Go, he said sadly, but if you do not return in 7 days, I will die of a broken heart. He gave her a magic ring that would transport her home and back again. Belle was overjoyed to be home. Her father's health immediately improved upon seeing her. Her sisters, however, were jealous of the fine clothes she wore and the stories she told of the grand castle. They plotted to make her break her promise, hoping the beast would be angry with her. They cried and begged her to stay just 1 more day, and Belle, with her kind heart, couldn't refuse. On the 10th night, Belle had a terrible dream. She saw the beast lying in the castle garden, weak and near death. She woke up in a panic, realizing her mistake. She had broken her promise. Using the magic ring, she instantly returned to the castle. She ran through the silent halls, calling his name. She finally found him in the garden, lying beside the rose bush, barely breathing. Oh, beast! She cried, rushing to his side. Please don't die. I've come back. I didn't realize how much I cared for you until now. She cradled his head in her lap, tears streaming down her face. I love you, she whispered. Please live, and I will be your wife. As her tear fell upon him, a magical light surrounded the beast. He began to transform. His monstrous features melted away, revealing a handsome prince with kind eyes. Belle stared in astonishment. The prince smiled at her. Belle, your love has broken the spell, he explained. An enchantress turned me into a beast long ago, a curse that could only be broken by true love's kiss and a promise of marriage. The castle came alive. The enchanted objects turned back into smiling servants, and the entire kingdom rejoiced. Belle and the prince were married, and they invited her father to live with them in the castle. They ruled the kingdom with kindness and love, and they lived happily ever after. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more classic stories.